Hi, this channel is Different Careers with Kate Nudd. Again, I am currently a licensed massage therapist, and today we're going to review Ethics Create a Zero Tolerance Practice. Now, as you can see from my certificate of achievement, I did receive 1 hour of CE hours, but I did this class September 8, 2022. And finished it on September 8, 2022. The instructor is Joyce Gauthier. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so forgive me if I've mispronounced your name. I am not good at pronunciation. So let us go over this course. So join Joyce, a founder of Respect Massage, for the Essential Ethics and Boundaries course based on real life scenarios. Learn to identify the warning signs of sexual solicitors, deter solicitors from becoming clients, empower yourself to say no, and safely escape dangerous situations. Use the skills you gain from this course to create a zero tolerance practice. So she lists other related courses. I may do this in the future. Feel free to put in the comment section in the future if you would like me to review any of these courses. Ethics Preventing Sexual Misconduct in Massage Therapy. Maintaining Sexual Ethics Part 1, Key Concepts. Maintaining Sexual Ethics Part 2, Protecting Clients. Maintaining Sexual Ethics Part 3, Protecting Practitioners. So feel free to let me know. I also will probably have to see if they are New York certified because, again, my CE credits are due in June. My license renewal is due in June. So I'm working on continuing education credits, getting them all done. So if they're not New York approved, then I won't be, reviewing other classes through this organization. Yes, ABMP. So Respect Massage Story and Mission, Real Life Scenarios, Red Flags, Yellow Flags Before the Session, Client Screening and Questions, Internet Do's and Don'ts During the Session, Exit Strategies, Working Alone, Ways to Protect Yourself After the Session, Keep Records, Contact the Police, Evaluate. So I'm thinking we're going to try to do like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, see how it goes, watch it from the beginning. I haven't watched it in a long while, so I don't remember the material, but for copyright stuff, I don't want to just post the whole video on here. So if you're interested in doing this course for your massage therapy practice, continuing education, they even give you a Respect Massage logo for free so you can put it on your website. So Joyce is a licensed massage therapist from New York. She owned a successful medical practice in a chiropractic office for 7 years before following her dream of traveling full-time. Joyce is the founder of Respect Massage, a program with a mission to educate and empower massage therapists so you can easily spot, deter, and escape from clients who are looking for happy endings or extras. Learn more at respectmassage.com. So a part of me wants to just have you all watch the whole video, but hey, ABMP has 100% copyrights to this. Same with Joyce. I can't pronounce her name. Gauthier or whatever. So let's watch 5 to 10 minutes and get into the video.
I'm Joyce Gauthier, founder of Respect Massage. I created Respect Massage so massage therapists could have a resource to address sexual solicitations. I wanted to give therapists one place to visit, to join a community, and to know they are not alone. This course is specifically designed to give you the tools you need to spot, deter, and stop sexual solicitations. Some of the material in this course is uncomfortable, but it's designed to be that way. It is designed to push you out of your comfort zone and really think about how you would react if faced with a solicitor during the booking process and in your practice. Thinking about these situations now in a safe space will help you react calmly and safely if you are actually faced with any of these scenarios. This is also an opportunity for you to set your personal boundaries. If you have firm boundaries from everything to accepting payment to hugging clients, it will be easier to handle boundary pushing because you will already have your boundaries set. It will become easier to say no to these tough requests. You will leave this course with confidence to say no, not only to sexual solicitations, but also to general boundary pushing that can come from even the most innocent of requests. So I'm going to go through a couple scenarios right now. These are real life situations. So they've either happened to me personally or they've happened to other massage therapists that I've spoken to. So they're uncomfortable, they're a little awkward, but just know that by the end of the course, you're going to be able to breeze through these with no problem. So just listen, take it in, think about how you would react to this. In all of these scenarios, we're going to go through every single little thing within the course, so absolutely no pressure here. So our first scenario is the texter. A new client sends you a text message looking for an appointment that day. They have a low back injury that is flaring up, and massage always helps the problem immediately. You have recently opened up your business and you're happy to get the last minute booking. The client has pretty bad handwriting and a lot of the intake form is difficult to read. You take the time to go through the form with the client verbally and make notes about their old low back injury. They seem to have received a lot of massages. They are very well versed in massage lingo and tells you they get hot during massages and do not want any draping. He says massage therapists in the past have always obliged to this request because it's easier to address the low back pain with no draping. And hey, it's just a body. You are a professional, right? You tell them it is state law to cover genitals and the gluteal cleft and say that you must have a sheet for draping. They say, okay. When you're massaging their low back, they say they want very deep pressure, but seems to be squirming in pain. You check in with them and they tell you that it needs to be hard pressure or else they won't feel better. They continue to squirm and grind on the table. You feel increasingly uncomfortable, but they are in pain. You also really want to make them feel better. And they already challenged your professionalism and you don't want to end the massage because they might leave a bad review saying that you don't know what you're doing. Besides, how can you just walk out of a massage? What would you say? You finish the massage after what seems to be the longest hour of your life. He pays you, does not tip, and leaves you without any chit-chat other than saying they feel better. So these are the questions that I want you to think about. 1, what could have been done before scheduling this massage to better screen this client? 2, what could have been done during the intake process to curb the behavior? 3, name all the red flags in this scenario. 4, would you have scheduled this client in the first place? 5, when would you have ended the massage? And 6, how would you have ended the session? And lastly, would you have called the police? Our second scenario is the professional. You have a new client coming to your office. The only time you could get him on the schedule was 6 p.m. because he works a 9-to-5 job. You are alone in your office. Once you get the client inside your office, you lock the door so no one can come in off the street. You go through the intake process, and he is compliant, but not over talkative. You ask him to undress to his level of comfort and get under the sheets. You walk back in the room after washing your hands to find him on top of the blanket and sheets with no clothes on. You quickly shut the door and inform him to get under the blankets. You give him a few moments, knock on the door, and re-enter. He apologizes, and you begin the massage. As you're working on his hand, his thumb rubs your hand. You quickly move to his shoulder, and he stretches his arms up, and his arm grazes you. Then you notice an erection. You try to ignore it, but you notice the erection is moving. You finish the massage a few minutes early. When the client comes to the front desk, he pays you and asks if you can finish the massage next time. So here's our questions after this scenario. Question number 1. What could have been done before scheduling the massage to better screen this client? 2. Would you have ended the massage earlier than the therapist in the scenario? If so, when? Number 3. What would you have said to end the massage early? 4. What would you have done after you left the room? 5. What could you have done to better protect yourself in your office by yourself? And number 6, would you have called the police? So in this next section, we're going to talk about red flags and yellow flags. First up is going to be red flags. These are an easy no. Do not schedule these people. If you're in a situation where they're in your office, you're going to immediately get out. It's abundantly clear what they're looking for. Yellow flags are going to be coming up next. These are situations where it's not totally clear, and you might just have to screen that person more. You might need to ask more questions, or you might need to see, are there multiple yellow flags that will add up to a red flag? So the first red flag that you can possibly encounter where you're going to say an absolute no to is if when you're booking someone, if they ask you for a picture of you or any of your staff members. So they might ask for a picture, they might ask how tall they are, what race they are, what color their hair is, anything. So this is very typical for what might happen in a massage parlor. The massage client comes in, they'll get pictures of all of the masseuses, and they can choose, who they want to work on them. So that's what's happening here if somebody's asking you for pictures or for information about how your staff looks. So that's a very easy, nope, I am not going to schedule this client. Just immediately get out. If they send a picture of themselves to you, that's also a hard pass. There is no reason you need to be receiving pictures of a client. It's obvious that they're looking for some sort of erotic massage or a happy ending. So you can just choose to not schedule that client and get out of that situation immediately. If they are having a hard time parting with their personal information with you. So when you're booking a client, you're going to ask them for very simple things that if it's a legitimate client, it's easy for them to give you. Their first name, their last name, their phone number, their address, possibly a credit card if that is within your boundaries and how you accept payments as a part of your screening process. So if someone does not want to give you their last name, their phone number, their address, any personal information, then that means that they're trying to fly under the radar. So once again, going back to what happens at parlors, what they're offering is illegal. So they try to protect their clients that if they did get busted, they don't have a list of people's personal information, credit cards, last names, any of that jazz. So that's what this client is trying to avoid, is giving any personal information to you so they can not get caught by the police. So that's a very easy pass. If someone calls you and they ask for no draping, zero draping, that is a no. You don't need to ask any more questions. They're asking you if they can be completely naked because they want stuff to happen. So just do not schedule that client. Now, if in the very first moments of contact, you haven't even gotten their name yet, you have not booked them, and they're already bringing up draping, this is also a complete and obvious red flag. Now, when we get into yellow flags, it's a yellow flag if someone, if they're in the room with you and they ask you, well, how much clothes should I take off? Or, you notice that they're getting hot when they're on the table and they're asking you to take off the blanket and just use a sheet. That's okay, and you can assess the situation as that arises. But what I'm talking about as a blatant red flag is asking for no draping or to bringing up draping issues right off the bat, first point of contact before you've even booked them. If the client touches you, immediately stop the massage. So you're giving a massage to someone and they're touching you in either an erotic sexual manner or in a violent manner, you're going to obviously immediately get out of the room. You don't even need to make an excuse in this situation. Just get out and call for help, get help. If you have described to them, I want you to undress to your level of comfort. I want you to get in between the blankets and the sheets, and I'll come back in the room and we'll start the massage. And you come into the room and they are naked on top of the sheets, then this is going to be a clear full stop, end the massage and get out. So keep in mind, during your intake process, you need to be abundantly clear about what is expected of the client. Whatever language you use to tell them how much clothes to take off and how you want them to be positioned and covered as you enter the room to start the massage, you need to be super clear on that. And you need to make sure that the client says, yes, I understand. You can demonstrate, you can pull the sheets back and show them. So if you know that they fully understand and then they choose to be naked on top of the sheets, that's a clear choice. They are sending you a message and you're going to get out of that situation immediately. So just keep in mind to be very clear up front with how you describe it. If they're asking for certain modalities while you're booking them and they say, hey, do you practice Nuru massage? Or if they're naming off modalities that you do not practice and you're not familiar with, they could potentially be asking you to provide erotic massage, and they're naming these different modalities that are floating around in the underbelly of the massage world. So Nuru is an obvious one. There's endless different names for erotic massage. So obviously, if you're receiving a call from someone and they're asking you to provide a modality that you do not offer, you're going to say no anyway. I do not practice that. So just keep your ears perked for Nuru, because that's definitely erotic massage. If the client is bringing up a medical condition about their penis right off the bat, you haven't even booked them yet, and it's the first thing that they're talking about, you're going to get out of that situation immediately because they're baiting you. They're looking to see if, how far they can push you and how far they can push those boundaries. So you're going to say no. Now, there is also a gray area that gets intertwined with this, because sometimes they will ask you very early on in the booking process, I have a medical condition, I want to ask you questions about it. This could be low back pain, or this could be them asking you if you're comfortable with their erections. So that is where the screening process comes into play, and that's where you're going to ask more questions. But if it's a medical condition about their penis, that's a hard pass. If it's about anything else, you're just going to have to ask more follow-up questions. If they invite you to watch them change, if they say, hey, you can just stay in the room while I get on the table, I'm not shy, you're a professional, right? You don't care, you see naked bodies all day. If they're starting to do that, that's boundary pushing. It's only going to get worse from there, so you're just going to shut that down immediately. If they ask you very early on in the booking process about full body massages, what's included in a full body massage, they're looking to see if you give a full body massage. So you're going to immediately shut down that request and just say, you know what, I don't provide what you're looking for, and just get out. If they're asking for a prostate massage at any point, so that's early on in the booking process, while they're doing their intake, while they're on the table, you're just going to stop it, because that is obviously not something that you provide as a massage therapist. It's well without of what you're going to provide for them, and they're looking for inappropriate massage, so you're just going to end it right there. And this one seems to be very obvious, but it does happen. If a client ejaculates on your table, you're either going to end the massage if it happens while you're there, or if it's something that you've noticed has happened while you're cleaning up your table, that's transpired, you're going to make sure that you don't rebook that client. So it could be a situation where you're cleaning up your table and the client has already left, and you've rebooked them and you notice that they've ejaculated on your table. You're going to cancel that appointment. You're going to contact the client and tell them their appointment is canceled. I know it seems super obvious, but I was contacted by a massage therapist. This is an actual true story. She was telling me that she had a client, this was the third time that it happened. He ejaculated on his table and she just didn't know how to get out of the situation. And I'm like, hold on a second. This has happened multiple times and you're still inviting this client back. Um, that's a hard pass. That's a no-go. If it happens once, just end the massage. I empower you to get out of that situation immediately. So this next section is about yellow flags. So red flags are totally obvious. They're a hard pass. Yellow flags would require a little bit more screening, asking some more questions, and also looking at if there's multiple yellow flags. So multiple yellow flags equal a red flag. This is also a really great opportunity for you to look at each and every one and think about, how are you going to handle this with every single client that comes into your office? Because some of these are just general boundary pushing. They're not necessarily the person is looking for sex, but they're just clients that are trying to kind of push you and into boundaries. So what's going to make you a better therapist is if you're very clear with each and every client. You have your very clear boundaries about what you'll do and what you won't do within your practice or even outside of your practice. So the first one is the client does not want to talk on the phone with you. So when we get into the screening section of this course, we're going to talk about how it's important to screen clients either in person or on the phone. So when you're making that request and asking the client, okay, we need to set up a phone call after you've been kind of texting and trying to set up the booking process, you need to talk to them on the phone so you can ask them their screening questions. If they refuse to talk to you on the phone, that is a yellow flag, okay? There's some reasons that someone might not be able to talk on the phone. They're hearing impaired. They're uncomfortable. You know, some people are introverted and they don't want to talk on the phone. And that's okay, that's their boundary. But you just need to look at it as, is this the only yellow flag, or is this accompanied with other yellow flags that might lead you to not want to book this client? If not, you're just going to work around it and get that person on the schedule in a way that everybody feels comfortable. So the next thing is a yellow flag if the client needs an appointment immediately. If this is a massage emergency and I need to make an appointment right now, that's when you're going to, your ears should perk up and say, this might be off, or this could be a legitimate request. Now, in my mind, there is no such thing as a massage emergency. If someone calls you and they are in so much pain or so uncomfortable that they need a massage right now, then they should probably be going to the emergency room or to see a doctor. It's probably not even appropriate for you to massage them in an acute state. So keep that in mind. If they need a massage immediately, most of the time it's because they are looking for a happy ending. And they want to get on your schedule right then. And that's also sometimes accompanied with evening, late night requests. If the client is looking to book with you later in the evening, kind of after normal business hours or in the middle of the night, that is definitely a yellow flag. So times where this might happen legitimately, somebody's got a weird work schedule. And you can most definitely accommodate that request if it's a client you trust, they just get out of work, at 8 p.m. and they want to come and get a massage at 9 p.m. I totally get that, and that's fine. But if it's a brand new client and they're asking you for a late night appointment, that is a potential problem, and you should either screen that client further, ask them why they need that massage at that hour, and proceed with caution. Now, if you have set hours for your business and you don't work during those times, then you do not have to accommodate that client at all, okay? Your business hours are your business hours, and you've created them because that's what works for you. So if someone's trying to get you to work outside of that time, then that's just blatantly pushing boundaries, and you do not have to accommodate that request. This is where we're starting to get into the idea of, are you so desperate for clients that you'll take anyone? You'll work at any hour, you'll discount it, you'll do whatever you can to just get those clients because either you're a new therapist or you need the money or whatever it is. And that's something that I want you to ask yourself, especially during this section when we're going through the rest of these, is, am I taking clients that I have no business taking, that aren't a right fit for me, just because I need the money or because I need to fill my schedule? And if that is the case, then I want you to take a step back and maybe revamp your business. Look at your rates. Are you charging enough? Are you confident enough in your skills? What do you need to change to make it so you're not taking every single client that calls you? You need to start to be a little bit more picky in who you allow into your space, because it's good therapy. You want to make sure that you're working on people that you connect with and that are appropriate for you and your gifts and talents. If a client calls with a request for groin work, they want ab work, or they want tailbone work. So all of these things are within our scope. Groin pulls are something that happens. So keep in mind, if it's the very first thing that a client is asking and they're requesting groin work, you haven't even gotten their name yet, that's probably just going to be a hard pass. But if this is something that comes up during the intake process, it's someone, I bike a lot and, my inner thighs are very tight, I would like you to address that. As long as it's within your level of comfort and you screen them and you feel like, this is a legitimate request, then absolutely go for it. And also, it needs to be within your boundaries and within where you're comfortable working. If you don't work on tailbones, you don't have to. It is within your scope, but you don't have to do that. So just keep in mind, if somebody's asking for that, it's not necessarily a hard pass, but you do need to make sure that you're screening this client and you're feeling comfortable and you feel like it's within an area of the body that you're comfortable working on as well. You have the ability to turn down any work that you don't want to be doing. If someone wants to pay in cash only, once again, totally legitimate request. Some people just like paying in cash. Now, if someone goes to a massage parlor, they are going to pay in cash because they don't want their credit card on file while they're receiving illegal services. So this could be an illegitimate request, or they could just be asking to pay in cash. So remember, if this is something that comes up very early on in the booking process, first thing, you're going to say no. And if it's something that comes up, just as long as it's not accompanied with a bunch of other yellow or red flags, then go ahead and proceed and just accept the cash payment. If the person does not want to fill out an intake form, or they fill it out in a very sloppy manner, this client is sending you the message that the medical side of massage is not a priority for them. So that could mean that they are looking for a happy ending and they don't care what else is being done in the massage. Or it could be a client that they're just looking to relax and they don't feel like that's important. But this is a great opportunity for you to educate that client and to make sure that they know about the therapeutic benefits of massage and how we're not just, putting lotion on people. We're doing so much more in all types of the massage that we offer. So I look at this, if they're, kind of blowing off the intake processes, this is a great opportunity for you to step up as a therapist and to really drive home the importance of massage therapy and how it's going to change all their body systems and how much it can help them in ways that they didn't even know were possible. If they're asking you a lot of personal questions, now we've all had these clients, they come in and they want to know your life story. They're just a nice client and they're a little uncomfortable talking about themselves, so they want to talk about you. That's totally valid. Now, if someone is coming in and they're really pushing on questions like, do you have a husband? Do you have kids? Where do you live? These are questions that could be totally valid and innocent, but they could also be, them trying to see, are you single? I want to date this person, and starting to kind of lead into an inappropriate relationship. So just take a look at that closely. I highly recommend that is a firm boundary, that you don't talk about yourself during your session. There is no need for any of your clients to know any personal information about their therapist. Remember, you are a therapist. You are in charge. You are here for them. So having that as a clear boundary with all of your clients is really going to elevate your practice and elevate the therapy that happens in your massage practice. And it's also going to protect you from potentially blurring the lines with clients and getting a little bit too close with them and letting them know a little bit too much about who you are and your personal information. If someone is adjusting or shifting on the table or even moaning, now, once again, we've all had that client. They're a moaner, they just are very audible. It's totally innocent and they just make a lot of noise while they're getting a massage. But if you have a client that is shifting or grinding on the table, either it's too much pressure and they're uncomfortable And that's something you should be checking in on with them anyway, or they're legitimately just grinding into the table and it's because they're getting aroused and they want things to go further. So if that movement is, if the person is moving around on the table a lot, or if they're moaning, you need to check in and you need to ask, is this too much pressure? Do we need to adjust it? Ask all those questions and make sure that you're asking them so it's not a yes or no answer, saying, would you like more or less pressure? So they have to make that choice. They can't just say yes and move on. If you have a client that is taking a long time to get up, that could mean that they're doing something inappropriate in your room, like ejaculating on your table, or they could have simply just fallen asleep, or they're very relaxed. But just keep in mind that if someone is really bleeding into that time of, they're taking 10, 15 minutes to get up off the table when that's not something that you offered to them, that is a way that they're pushing boundaries. They're looking for more time for you, from you. So keep in mind, if they're taking a long time to get up, if they're arriving super early for their appointments, or if they're getting in really, really late and they're still expecting you to give them even more time, all of these boundaries around time need to be very, very specific from you. You need to be starting appointments on time, ending them on time. So that is, it's going to help your client prioritize their treatment. They're going to understand that the scheduled time that you have for them is their time, and you don't have time outside of that for them because you are not friends. You are their therapist. I know that we all struggle a lot with this one. It's really hard, but it's extremely important to keep to your scheduled times because it's going to maintain those great boundaries with your clients and elevate the therapy and elevate you as a professional. If someone starts calling you pet names, now, once again, totally legitimate. Some people just do this. But if someone is calling you pet names, for example, someone's texting you outside of your business hours because they have your personal phone number, it's not about an appointment. They're just saying, hey, how's it going tonight, sweetie? This is an inappropriate behavior for a therapist to have with a client. You shouldn't be texting with clients outside of booking appointments or checking in with them to make sure that they're okay after an appointment. And really, having that be a phone call or an email is a little bit more professional than a text or messaging on social media. It's a little bit more loose. So maintain those boundaries within your comfort level. And how are clients contacting you? If you are wide open and there's 5 different ways for people to contact you, they're going to use all of those different ways. But if you're specific, it's creating that boundary and it's going to create a stronger relationship with you and your client. Hugs. A lot of us hug our clients. And I know with COVID, things are very different and they've changed a lot when it comes to entering into that personal space. Now, if you decide as a therapist that you do not hug any of your clients, and you have a client that wants to hug you that you do not want to hug back, it's very easy to say, I don't hug my clients. But if you have those clients that you've had for 7 years and you've got a great rapport with them and they leave and you hug them, and you've got your next client that sees that's a new client and they think that's the norm, is that really the message you want to be sending as a professional therapist? Probably not. So make sure you set up that boundary right from the get-go. And I'm not saying to hug or to not hug. I just want you to make sure that once you open that door, it's open and it's hard to come back from that. So that is it for the yellow flags. And I hope it really makes you think about how you would react in every single one of these situations. They come up for all therapists. So remember, yellow flags, if there's multiple yellow flags, that equals a red flag. Red flags are a hard pass, no-go. We're going to get into it later into the course.
So, let's go over a few things. So, one of the things I have noticed is being a massage therapist, people get a massage and they do not understand New York State massage laws, but they're coming in. So, in school, one of the things we went over was sometimes clients come in and they look at massage as you are in healthcare. So they kind of view you as like a doctor or a nurse, and it's like, oh, you can see me get undressed or whatever. This is males and females. And New York State, for massage, there is a draping law. So whether you're a male or a female, gay, lesbian, transgender, whatever you are, there is a draping law. So that means we only undrape the area that we work, and then when we're done, we cover that area back up. So, and you need to get underneath the sheet, and you need to put your hands underneath the sheet, and you need to allow the massage therapist to do the draping for you, because sometimes what happens is if clients try to help us drape, that can, like, that means there could be accidental exposure. And so, yes, sometimes even women, like, you knock on the door and they're like, oh, you can come in, and they haven't gotten underneath the table. It's inappropriate, whether you're a woman, a male, gay or lesbian or transgender, to say, hey, come on in when you haven't gotten on the table. So, when the therapist knocks on the door, if you're not properly underneath the sheet, there is a bottom sheet and a top sheet. You need to be in between both sets of sheets. Make sure, if you only tell your massage therapist, your licensed massage therapist, it's okay to come in when you're in between the sheets and the blanket is on top of you. So that is my disclaimer. I hope you found this video informative. This video is longer because I felt like it was important to educate the public and let them know, licensed massage therapists, we went to school, did 1,000 hours in New York State, took the boards to get a license to do this. If we do not follow New York State law, we could lose our license. Only come to us in New York State if you really need a legitimate professional massage, where you want where you want to relax the muscles, where you need knots worked out, muscle tension worked out, or trigger points worked out. Please only come to us for these reasons only, and we will be happy to massage you and alleviate your muscle tension or help you de-stress. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. Feel free to like and subscribe to this channel if you want. Until next time.